Alright, y'all. The 2026 Grammys just went down, so you know I gotta talk about it. Y'all ready? Let's go.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B kid, and I'm back again with another episode of On the Bright Side TV. Welcome back. How you doing? Hope you're doing very well. I hope you guys are doing well. I am tired, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I had a really long day at work, and I've had a long week at work so far. It's only Tuesday, and I've had a really long week at work. So I'm probably gonna seem a little tired throughout this video because I am tired, but I'm gonna push through for y'all because, of course, I want to talk to you guys about the Grammys, which just went down this past Sunday on February 1st, 2026. And happy Black History Month, by the way, y'all. Shout out to all my black folk out there around the world. I love y'all down. I just love being black. I love us for real. You know what I'm saying? What did Monique say? I love us for real. But yeah, man, shout out to, black folks because we really did our thing at the Grammys this year, which, I mean, period, I'm gonna just go through my thoughts on the performances, the winners, and just the show itself. Before I do, just a reminder, y'all, please go support and join my Patreon. The link is down below in the description. If you like my vibe, you like my energy, it's more where this came from. On my Patreon, I have all types of uncut reactions and all my longer reactions and other exclusive content that won't be on my regular YouTube channel. They'll all be on my Patreon, so please go support my Patreon. Link below in the description. It's only $3 a month, so please go support. I appreciate y'all. But all right, y'all, without further ado, let's get into the 2026 Grammys. Y'all ready? Let's go. So in terms of my overall thoughts on this year's Grammys, like I've said, I thought the overall show was cool. I thought it was a really good show. I enjoyed it watching it on Sunday night. I definitely didn't think it was a terrible show. I didn't think it was amazing. To me, I don't think it'll go down as one of my favorite Grammys experiences ever. But it definitely wasn't a bad show at all. I think it was pretty middle of the road. It was definitely satisfactory, not mind blowing, not that memorable. I don't think it'll be the most memorable show in the history of the Grammys, but it was still a very decent show for the most part. So, and speaking of Black history, I definitely want to get into just a summary of all the history that was broken this year, because I think a lot of cool history was made this year. So let's get into it. First up, we got to talk about the big winner of the night, Mr. Bad Bunny himself. Bad Bunny officially became the first, or I guess his album became the first recipient of the Album of the Year Grammy for a full Spanish language album, which is really amazing history to be made. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for this, the Latinx community and all my Spanish speaking folk around the world. I just think it's an amazing feat that I'm glad and so happy to have witnessed it in my lifetime. I think it's a really dope achievement that happened and a really important achievement, especially at a really important time. So I think that's amazing history that was made. Shout out to Bad Bunny for that. Kendrick Lamar, another Album of the Year nominee. With his 5 wins at the Grammys this year, he has now officially become the most awarded, hip hop artist, / rapper in Grammys history. I think he's now at 27 wins. He surpassed Jay-Z when he won, I think, 3. And then when he won his 4th, he matched Jay-Z when he won 3. Then when he won his 4th and 5th, he surpassed Jay-Z to be the most awarded rapper in Grammys history. So I had a feeling he was definitely going to break that record this year. I'm glad he did make it happen. Definitely deserved this. If there's anybody to me that would deserve to have that record over Jay-Z, it's definitely Kendrick Lamar. So I'm glad he made that happen. My favorite rapper, and he deserves that record. So I'm happy for him on that. And I also got to give a shout out to Billie Eilish and Phineas for becoming the first songwriters in Grammy history as of right now to win the Song of the Year award 3 times, which for some reason I thought there had already been a lot of songwriters that have won the award like 3-4 times, but I guess nobody's won the award more than twice before, which is really not surprising, but kind of surprising. But yeah, it's really crazy that Billy and Phineas have broken that record now. So they're the first recipients that have won it 3 times. I think that history will definitely be matched at some point in the next couple decades. It'll definitely be matched and maybe even broken. But for now, they hold that record. So that was definitely history that was made that we got to highlight for sure. Just shout out to them on that. I'll talk more about that later. And something that wasn't really history, but I did want to highlight the fact that I love that with this year's wins for SZA, winning for Record of the Year and Melodic Rap Performance for Luther, she now has won categories, and I believe like 4 different genre categories along with the general field. She's won R&B Grammy, she's won Pop Grammy, she's won a Rap Grammy now, and she's won the general fields. I love the expansiveness of SZA's wins in the Grammys in terms of her Grammy history, and it feels like it really fits her as an artist and as a person. Like I feel like SZA is such a versatile, and her artistic reach like spreads so wide beyond just like R&B. So I feel like I love that she has such a diverse mix of Grammy wins in different categories. It fits her, and I feel like she's kind of like the new Mary J. Blige. Because if y'all know, like Mary J. Blige is one of the few artists, kind of like Beyonce. I think Beyonce too has like Grammy wins in several different categories. Mary J. Blige too. Like I think Beyonce has, country, dance, R&B, pop, like general. I think Mary J. Blige same thing. Like Mary J. Blige has Grammys in like I think gospel, R&B, pop. Like I love when an artist has Grammy wins in several different types of genres. I just think that's such a cool thing, and it speaks to the powerfulness and the versatility of your art, especially when you collab with other people and just what you bring to other worlds. It speaks to the power of that, and some of the best artists had that on their side. So I love that SZA has now expanded her reach to now 2 additional categories at the Grammys, rap and general, for her wins. I love that. So shout out to SZA for that personal history for her. And now I want to move to talking about some of the major snubs and shutouts that we saw this year. Mainly the first one that comes to mind is definitely Sabrina Carpenter. I definitely wasn't mad that Sabrina had a shutout at all. I wasn't mad at it, and I low-key smelled it coming. Even though I did think they were going to give her at least 1 Grammy in either a pop solo performance or music video. I thought she would just get music video as a consolation prize, but she ended up getting nothing. Which wasn't, like I said, was not too surprising, but that's a highlight because, she's one of the biggest artists of our time, and she just won 2 last year. She also had a really big era this year with the Man's Best Friend era. So again, not surprising that she went on empty-handed, but that's definitely a big snub that I want to mention. And also Rose and Bruno Mars. Listen, y'all were not trying to listen to me. And so many people in my comments on my other videos like, how are you not predicting Rose and Bruno for Record of the Year or for Best Pop Duo Group Performance? I'm like, listen, I know what I'm talking about. I thought about it and it made sense. When I was doing my predictions for the Grammys with my last video, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Bruno has enough Grammys. They're not thirsty to give Bruno another Grammy for Apata, even though we all love that song. And Rose is a brand new girl on the scene, not in terms of her work with Blackpink, but as a solo artist, she's a brand new artist on the scene. And they don't just give new artists Grammys just because you caught one really big hit. Like, I feel like we've seen with Grammys history that they always want like a newer artist to prove themselves a little bit before they just give them Grammys. And sometimes artists will get lucky and get a Grammy off of like their first big hit, their first year at the Grammys. That happens. But more often than not, especially with her being like an artist that was based in K-pop, like she's not an American artist that is in the American world like that. I don't think there was any like decision that they wanted to like snub Rose intentionally, but I just didn't see that Grammy happening because there was so many other hits in contention this year for Record of the Year. And for Pop Duo, we had Golden, which was a big hit. That would have made sense. And then they ended up giving to Defying Gravity, which also made sense because that's more of like a Grammy performance and Grammy song. So I had a feeling that they weren't going to give any Grammys to Apata, even though I love that song. So no one wanted to hear me, but I said it, and that's what happened. So listen, y'all. A lot of times you just got to it's not about what we want to happen. You have to be honest about the voting body, what's happening in the year. And it was very likely that Apata was not going to win anything, and that's what happened. So I'm glad I predicted it, not because I didn't want it to win anything, but I knew it wasn't going to. So yeah, Rose and Bruno Mars got shut out, but that's fine. Bruno Mars has enough. Rose hopefully will be back again in the future for another shot at it, so you should be fine. And I also want to talk about Justin Bieber. Again, not a big shutout. He only had like 4 nominations, but I definitely wanted to mention him because he didn't get anything. I do think a Daisy's upset in Pop Solo would have been nice for him, but I'm really not that upset about it, and it's cool. Not a big deal at all. He'll be fine. But I want to mention that as well. I don't think there's any other major snubs and shoutouts that I want to mention for y'all that were striking to me in terms of people that had a lot of nominations. But let me know if you guys think I missed anybody. The next thing I wanted to say about this year is I think this was a really big banner year in terms of there being a lot of curveballs with the winners in some of the major categories that I care about. And I kind of was shocked as the night went on, especially with the premiere ceremony before the actual telecast started, and even throughout the Grammys night when the telecast started, how many winners happened in categories where I was like, wait, that person won? Like, what? So pretty much, like Song of the Year, pop solo performance, pop duo / group performance, dance electronic recording, traditional R&B performance. Those are some categories where I was like, whoa, like the winner was not who I expected it to be at all. So there were a lot. I feel like to me, let me know what y'all think, but I feel like to me this was a year where there were a lot of winners that I was not expecting. Some of them were welcome surprises, like, Ariana Grande and Cynthia winning pop duo. I loved that. Leon Thomas winning traditional R&B. I loved that. But some of them I was like, okay, I don't know. I also love Lola Young winning for Messi. I loved that. But Tame Impala winning for End of Summer, I didn't like that. Billie Eilish winning for Wildflower Song of the Year, I wasn't a big fan of that. I'll talk about that more later. But yeah, this is a really big year where a lot of winners that I was not expecting happened. So of course, a lot of my predictions were not great in those categories, but I also did do well with some of my other predictions as well. So yeah. And before I get into the show overall, I want to say the artists that I'm so excited for, and I'm elated that they finally won their first Grammys this year, or more Grammys this year. I definitely want to give love to, first off, Duran Bernard. My God, Duran Bernard. I'm so happy for him. He won for Best Progressive R&B Album for his album Bloom. I'm just still on a high from Duran Bernard winning, because that's someone I've been watching for years. Duran Bernard is like one of the most gifted and the most amazing skilled vocalists in the game right now. Not a lot of people really are tapped in and know him, but if you know him, the real ones know. If you know, you know. Like Duran Bernard is one of those ones. I've been watching him for years, like rooting for him for years. He's just been like the kind of like, the quiet train that just was always chugging along, the little engine that could. Like, he's just been chugging along for years as an independent artist, making amazing music with very little visibility and just grinding. And for him to win his first Grammy in this way, it was just everything for me. As a big fan of him, as someone that's representing the LGBTQ community, as a Black man during Black History Month, like, I just feel like he's like a friend from far away. So it was like seeing one of like your besties that you don't know, but you do know, like winning a Grammy, and just like he's such a good person, and it just is so deserved for a great album. So it just feels like the culmination of a perfect moment for him. So I'm like still on a high from Duran Bernard winning. I'm so happy for you, bro. Like, congratulations. That win, so deserved. It's everything. I was rooting for Flo in that category because, I love that Access All Air's album, but I'm happy that Duran won it. He deserves it. I love that. I love the Bloom album as well. And I'm happy for Duran. Also, Kehlani, I gotta give love to Kehlani. My God, I thought she was only winning one Grammy, but she won 2 for R&B performance and R&B song. Love that for her. So happy for Kehlani. I knew she was winning something, but I'm happy for her now that she actually did win 2 Grammys, which is crazy. And also Leon Thomas, like, I have to give love. Shout out to my guy. He already won a Grammy a couple years ago for writing Snooze, but he won his first Grammys as an artist. And I'm so happy for him. Deserved as well. I just think overall, in general, R&B ate this year. R&B was done wrong in terms of the lack of performances and recognition given, I think, for the main telecast, besides the tribute to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack, which I'll talk about later. But I think in terms of the winners in the R&B categories and just the love and overall visibility that I think R&B got in terms of the prep up until the ceremony, with like the Music Cares event and like the Black Music Collective events and everything they had going on with all that, honoring Brandy and Kirk Franklin and Pharrell and Mariah Carey. I just think R&B really just it shines in terms of I think just the overall atmosphere of the Grammys this year. And I loved the winners in the R&B categories. It was amazing. R&B ate down the track. I loved it. So had to give love to my genre. All right, now let me get into the show itself. So Trevor Noah hosted this year's show, I believe for the last time for a while. I don't know if he'll ever not do it again, but he said this will be his last time hosting for at least several years. So rest in peace to Trevor Noah hosting the Grammys for a long time, but he did a great job. I thought he killed it. I loved his energy. I loved his jokes. I loved how he poked fun at Donald Trump, Nicki Minaj, and Drake with all their foolishness lately. I loved it. He poked fun at all the people in the audience. He was pointing out artists like he always does every year. But I feel like he had great pacing. He had great energy. He had good jokes. I really think he did a good job of keeping the show moving. I think obviously Trevor got a little bit lost in the show as the show kind of went on, but that tends to happen. That's fine. But I think his opening set was great. I think he looked good. He had great energy. He was on point. So I thought Trevor did a great job. I really think he is someone that I would love to see come back in future years if he's willing to, but I know he said he's kind of over it, which is fine. So we'll have some new people in the future. I'm looking forward to seeing who they'll pick. And I think this is also the last year they did the Grammys out on CBS, which I don't really care about, but if you want to know, that's what's happening. So yeah, shout out to Trevor Noah. I thought he did a great job as the host. He killed it. First performance of the night was Rose and Bruno Mars with Apata. I thought this song and them performing as the intro was a great idea. I feel like it's a perfect song and the perfect artist to kind of open up the show. So I thought it was a great idea. And I thought they definitely did a good job. It was cool. I definitely think Bruno seemed a little bit tame. Rose, I think she had great energy. Or is it Rose or Rosie? I don't know. I'm going to say Rosie. I thought she had great energy. I think she did a good job. The performance was great. I liked the energy of it. It wasn't like mind-blowing. It wasn't, I don't think it was like the most memorable of the night. I think Bruno also seems like he was kind of a little bit tame compared to what he usually gives, but I still thought it was solid. Next up was Sabrina Carpenter performing her song Man-Child. I feel like the world kind of feels the same way. Man-Child is cute, but it's not the moment that Espresso and Please 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 was. But over time, I've really come to love Man-Child. I think it's a really cute song. And I'm really proud of her in terms of what she did with this performance. I thought she did a great job. I'm so proud of her. I feel like her stage presence and her brand is so strong, and it's only getting stronger as the years go on. She just has such a great sense of the stage and like where she's at, what she's doing, her face, while keeping her vocals strong, while doing choreography, while just find those little moments to kind of make the performance hers and just have her put her little spin on things. Like, she's really coming into her own as an artist, and it's so beautiful to see a new pop girl that's really creating a lane for herself, and she's sticking to that lane, into that brand, and she's like doubling down on it, and she just knows what she wants to give for her artistry. And I love that her and her team have just packaged it up so beautifully in a bow, and she executes every time with great performance. Like, she has great stage presence. I feel like that mic was on, so I want to say the mic was on. Great vocals, choreo, and she had an amazing set design. The budget was also there as well. The budget was also there, along with the stage presence and her brand. The budget was there too. Shout out to her and her label. But she also made good use of that budget with a great set design, great performance, and I liked the aesthetic with like the airplane and her being like the air waitress. Like, I loved it. And then all the different types of men and different types of like worker costumes. I thought it was a great vibe, really cute and adorable, and she did a good job, so I thought it was great. Then next up, we had the first award of the night, which was for rap album, and it went to Kendrick Lamar's GNX album, which is fine. I was hoping it would have went to the Clips album, but I'm definitely not shocked that it went to GNX, and I'm not mad because I love GNX just as much, so we'll take it. And I liked Kendrick's speech. It was short and sweet to the point, just pretty much saying, he appreciated it. He gave love to hip hop and all of his fellow nominees. Really good speech, really good vibe. I'm happy that he won. And then after that, we went into the Best New Artist Showcase, which looks like it's now becoming a new tradition, which I love, of showcasing all the Best New Artist nominees back to back in a really long showcase. And I thought this year's showcase was definitely good. Definitely not as magical as last year's. I think last year's was like peak, having all the artists from last year's Best New Artist lineup. That was so crazy. Ray, Shabuzi, Sabrina, Teddy Swims, Benson Boone, like that. Sorry who else I missed in that lineup, but like that was a great lineup, right? So this one wasn't as magical, it wasn't as amazing, but I think it was still solid for the most part. I think this is a really solid group of Best New Artist nominees, like, for sure. So I think they did a good job for the most part. First up was the Marias. To me, they probably were the most forgettable out of the bunch. But definitely they had a cool, chill vibe with the performance, to kind of just give like lo-fi, bedroom pop energy. It wasn't boring, but just kind of forgettable, but it wasn't bad. They had a really chill vibe. Then we had Addison Rae perform her song Fame is a Gun. I love that song. That's a really cute song. I'm still not, I haven't listened to a lot of Addison Rae's music outside of that song, but I love that song. So this performance, I also want to say kind of turned me into a fan a little bit, and it kind of like got me onto the Addison Rae train. But I did hear that, I didn't realize it watching it, but I guess her performance was pre-recorded. I don't know if I didn't notice it, but I didn't notice that her performance was apparently pre-recorded, which I don't like, because at the end of the day, I think she did a great job in terms of what she gave us. Like, the performance was great. Like, the choreography, the presence, everything was great. But I feel like it's not fair to pre-record a performance for the Grammys while everyone else is doing it live. I just feel like that's cheating. So if it was pre-recorded, then that's a ding against her. But in terms of what she did give us, I liked it a lot. I think she did a great job in terms of what she gave. So y'all let me know below if it was pre-recorded or not. I thought she still did a good job, but obviously it's whack that we couldn't have seen what she would have done live, which is what the Grammys should be, And then we had Cat's Eye. I gotta say, The Cat's Eye group, I don't really know much of their music besides Gabriella, but I like their vibe. They're cute, and their stage presence, their choreography, all that was amazing. Like they hit it out the park when it came to like their choreography, stage presence, all that. But the song, god damn, that gnarly song is ass. Like that, I don't understand how you get up on the Grammy stage and perform a song that bad. I don't know why their team didn't just say like, you know what, even though this gnarly song, it might allow y'all to like give more performance energy. The better song and the song that you guys are nominated for is Gabriella. Perform Gabriella. I don't know why they didn't do Gabriella. I feel like that would have made more sense. It's a way better song. They still could have did choreography with it, but it feels like they just wanted to kind of like act like it was like, America's America's Best Dance Crew, America's Got Talent, and just like dance the whole time and like not focus on like the vocals and like giving us something interesting to chew on. It was just like a dance showcase, and they killed it. It was amazing, like really talented group of girls, and just great pop stars, but terrible song to perform to. Like I really feel like collectively all of America was like tuning out when they came on. Not because they weren't killing it, but because the song was terrible. Like, gnarly, that's such a bad song. Like, it's terrible. But I love Gabriella, so I know they can make good music when they want to. But yeah, bad song choice, but they still performed really well, so I'll give them that. Next up was Leon Thomas. I have to say, I love how all the black folk in the room stood up and like, they were supporting my man as soon as he came on for his segment. Love that. You know how we do. When our folk come on, we like, oh, okay. Oh, Leon on? All right, bet. Everybody stand up. Period. But I thought Leon did a great job. I think he killed it with his usual swag and musicality on display, as it always is. I have no notes for Leon. I thought he looked good, sounded great. He had the guitar. He did a little guitar solo, performed to Mutt, which is a great song live as well. Like, he did a great job, sounded good. No notes. I think Leon had his usual swag. He killed it, so he did a good job. Then next up was Alex Warren. He was cool. I still don't really get the hype with that Ordinary song. It's not a bad song, but I don't understand why it was such a big song last year. I still don't understand it, but his performance was cool. Even though he was having some like mic issues and headset issues, he still recovered pretty nicely. And he does have a really nice voice. So while I'm not into the music just yet like that, I think he does have a nice voice. So his performance was cool. Not the most memorable, but it was cool. Next up was Lola Young, who performed her song Messy, and she did it at the piano, which I actually thought that was a really nice contrast to the original vibe of the song. Because, the original vibe is more of like, pop, rock kind of vibe. But I love how she like stripped it back and just made it like kind of like a ballad on the piano. She killed it. And we got to hear those haunting and ethereal vocals. My God. One thing about Lola Young, I've actually been a fan for a couple of years. Even before she blew up, I've loved her. She just has such a beautiful tone. She makes great music. And I love that she got to showcase that at the Grammys. So hopefully everyone that was sleeping, y'all are tapped in now to the amazing talent that she is. That voice. She's really a great artist that has so much potential. So I'm rooting for her. I think she killed it. She did a great job. Loved her vocals. She killed it. The whole damn love. I was like, sing, Lola, sing. She killed that. And then my girl Olivia Dean came on. What else can I say about Olivia Dean? I adore her so much. I've said it in tweets. I've said it before. I just adore her so much. Olivia Dean came on, performed Man I Need. She looked gorgeous, like just radiant in that dress and the hair, and just gave that classic, timeless energy like she always does. She sounded great. Her energy was just so infectious as always. And she has such a genuine spirit about her. I don't know. There's something about Olivia Dean that she just has this like innocent, pure, genuine aura about her that also pours through in the music in such a dope way that it's such a joy to listen to her and to watch her. On top of her having amazing music. And she just gives this classic vibe. So she just has this classic vibe to her that we should all be grateful for, that she's giving to this generation, because it's so needed. Like, this generation needs it's vocalists. It's like this. I feel like this generation is like missing that person. Like our Whitney, our Christina Aguilera, our Mariah, like that person that's just like a classic vocalist, classic music, timeless, versatile, like. We're missing that person. I feel like Olivia Dean fits right in that slot for this generation, and I can't get enough of her. She killed it. one of the best of the segment. So she killed it. And then they ended off with Somber, who definitely wasn't one of the best, but I thought it was cute. Really good vibes from him. And I thought, I also loved that outfit. That like shiny metal suit that he had was so fire. That was one of the best outfits I think I saw at the Grammys. I loved it for his performance. He killed it. Shout out to the stylist. Great outfit. And I also think Somber really has some great songs. 12 to 12, Back to Friends, Undressed. Like, he has some really great songs. I'm not like fully tapped into him just yet, but he has great songs. So I think the sky's the limit for him with just a little more polish. If we can just kind of, hone in on his like brand, his artistry, and just polish it up a little bit more, I feel like the sky is the limit for him, because he has great songs that really will be timeless and great for a long time to come. So if he can just continue to churn those out, polish it up a little more in terms of like his performance ability and all that, like, he will be at another level fairly soon. So rooting for him. And then after this segment, we went to the Best New Artist category, as we should have. And of course, my girl Olivia Dean won it. I'm sad for Leon Thomas because I was rooting for him pretty much all year. But of course, Olivia Dean came in at the final hour and just stormed that category, and deservedly so. So she won it, she deserved it. And I loved her speech about, being the product of an immigrant, grandma. I loved that speech. It was so cute. She was thankful to win. She was emotional. It was really cute, and she deserved that win. So I'm so happy for you. Olivia Dean, congrats, mama. Mwah. To the first of many. When I tell y'all, when it's all said and done, Olivia Dean will be like the new Adele. She will have like 5-6 Grammys every time she drops an album. Like, how much do you want to bet? She's gonna take over the Grammys next year too. Like, she will. Olivia Dean, this is the first of many. Mark my words. Let's let it begin. What? Let the legacy begin for Olivia Dean. This is the first of many. But congrats on your first. Mwah. Then next up, we had Justin Bieber, who performed Yukon. And I have to admit, I didn't need my man in his drawers. I didn't understand it. Is that his clothing line? Is that what it was? I don't know. I didn't need Justin Bieber in his drawers for this performance. I didn't need it. But, it gives people something to talk about. But besides that, I will admit, Yukon hasn't been my favorite song off of Swag. I've not loved it like that. Even though I think a lot of other people have really gravitated towards that song. I more so love Daisies and a lot of other songs on the album, but a lot of people love Yukon. And I have to admit that this performance of Yukon, the way it was stripped back with just him and the piano and the guitar and just his pure vocal, like, it really kind of made me a fan of that song. I actually realized how dope the song is when you kind of strip it back, and I love how he gave it more of like an R&B vibe, because I feel like Justin Bieber's voice really does shine when he's singing like more of like his R&B records, because he has a voice that obviously works on pop records, but I think it really shines when he gets into more of that R&B bag. And I was like, damn, I didn't actually realize how good Yukon really go. Like, it's actually a really good song when I'm hearing it this way. I'm like, okay, like, he really made me a fan of the song, which is what you should do at the Grammys. Shout out to Justin Bieber for making me like a song that I didn't necessarily love before, but he really made me like it the way he kind of gave it a new vibe. But again, I didn't need him in his draws, but I think he did a really good job. Kind of underwhelming in terms of like, everything else besides his vocal, but to me, the vocal was enough that it had me interested in what he was doing. So he actually had a pretty good performance, but again, put some clothes on next time. Then next up, we had the award for Best Música Urbana Album, which obviously went to Bad Bunny for Debí Tirar Más Fotos. And I love that his speech was like, he pretty much was like, yo, all I gotta say is ice out. And I was like, period. Okay, bye. I'm with it. Like, he ate that. So I loved his speech. He looked adorable in his little suit, and that was his first win of the night on the telecast. So I love that for him. Great win, and really good speech. So shout out to Bad Bunny on that. Next up, they gave out the award for Best Contemporary Country Album, which went to Jelly Roll for his album Beautifully Broken, which I had a feeling would win that category. And I have to say, shout out to actually, he won 3 Grammys that night. Shout out to Jello. He had a great night. He was some of the most awards at that night after Kendrick and Bad Bunny. So Jelly Roll, his speech gave me life. I loved it. Just talking about, like, thank you, Jesus. I see you. Like, I'm listening to you. I hear what you're saying to me. Like, he talked about all of his struggles, like, being imprisoned and just what he's been through in his life and how, like, it's led to this moment. Loved his speech. It was really impactful and powerful and really genuine. And listen, as a fellow believer, like, I was like, yes, Jesus. So shout out to Jello on his speech and his win. Love that for him. Then next up was Lady Gaga, who performed her song Abracadabra. And I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on this performance. I have to say, I'm kind of in the middle. I do agree that I wish there were more bells and whistles with Lady Gaga's performance. I wish we had a little bit more to chew on in terms of the visuals or just like how they decided to kind of set it up. But to be honest, I actually kind of wasn't mad at the approach they took, because I thought it was really cool how she kind of did the unexpected. Like, Abracadabra being such a big dance pop song, I think a lot of people expected, like, fireworks and dancers and all that. And it would have been nice to see that, but we always get that. So I actually kind of like that she took a different approach and kind of made it more of like a stripped back, more intimate vibe. Again, I do wish there was more we would have gotten, but I loved the outfit, and I loved the blocking they had with the quick camera movements going from this, different angles, up, down, left, right. I thought it was really cool, and it really made it dynamic. So I actually really I really liked the performance for what it was, and I appreciated how the different approach that she took. And I also think she sounded amazing too. So I think that's always the most important part. Like, she really sold the song. I think she sounded amazing. And I loved the camera movements and how that really made the performance unique compared to everything else we saw that night. So I thought it was cool. And then we have Bruno Mars perform his song I Just Might. Go check out my reaction to the song, to the video if you haven't already. I love the song I Just Might. Not one of Bruno Mars's like best or most memorable songs in recent memory, which is fine, but it's still a really good song. I thought the performance was cool, nothing crazy, but I thought it was a solid performance for a really great song. And it was definitely giving, Soul Train cosplay. But in the best of ways, definitely wasn't offensive or corny. I thought it kind of felt like a tribute to Soul Train in that era, but not in a way that was corny or offensive, so I was cool with it. But I will say, it definitely felt like it would have been nice if he had just found a way to kind of breathe some new life into that song for the occasion. It really did feel like one of Bruno Mars's like least memorable performances in a long time, just in terms of like the set, the outfits. He seemed really kind of low energy. Like, it kind of seemed like he was just trying to get through it, like this and the performance with Rose. I hope this is not an indicator of what his tour will be like, but maybe he's just saving his energy for the tour, his massive tour later this year, which is fine. Save your energy. You have an album coming out later this month, so I get it. But yeah, it kind of seemed a little phoned in, to be honest, which is okay. I think not every artist will have, their best day. So this was kind of like this is definitely a low point for Bruno Mars in terms of like his energy, execution, and it kind of did feel phoned in a little bit. But it wasn't a bad performance at all. He sounded great. He looked great. Like, it was still a good performance. It just wasn't like, I don't think it was the moment that it could have and should have been for this being, I believe, the first performance of the song for the world. But it is what it is. It's fine. So Bruno was cool. And then they gave out the award for Best Pop Solo Performance. And I have to tell y'all, so this went to Lola Young for her song Messy. And when I say I did not see that coming at all, I don't think many people did. Like, this category in particular, I think we're seeing right now that in modern Grammy history, it's becoming one of the most volatile categories in like every year. It can either go really predictable, like how we did last year with Espresso winning, or it could be like way left field and like someone that we don't expect to win, or someone that we had like in second, third place that a lot of people really didn't think would win beyond that first place person winning. So this year was interesting because this category was kind of wide open and it really could have went to almost anybody. But Lola Young, I think, was probably my last place winner was between her and Chaperone. And actually, or maybe Gaga. No, well, yeah. But Lola Young was definitely lower on my list of who I thought would win this category. But I'm not mad that she won it because I adore that song. I think it's a great record. I love it. I love her and I love that song. So I definitely is a deserved win. I'm happy she won. I'm so happy for her. But I didn't expect it. But yeah, pop soul performance is becoming such a random category. Cause especially think about the year Gaga won for that album track from the Joanne album. Oh yeah, Joanne, Where You Think You're Going, and like. But I remember when Lizzo won this category for Truth Hurts, even though everyone thought Bad Guy by Billie Eilish would win it. When they gave this category to Harry Styles for Watermelon Sugar, even though I think a lot of people thought like Don't Start Now or something else would win that category. Like, this category always seems to be where they just kind of do something random, especially when they're songs that are nominated in the general field as well. It always ends up being like not the song that's nominated in the general field, or something else. It's just really weird. So that happened again this year. But yeah, I do wish Lola Young composed herself to give a little bit of a better speech. She kind of went there. She's like, "Oh my God, I won! Okay, bye." Like, she's young. She, it was cute. She was great. But I do think I wish she kind of composed herself just to give a better speech. But it was fine. It was a funny moment. So, but congrats to her win. Love that for her. Next up was the award for Song of the Year, and I think we all have the same feeling. Nobody hates Billie Eilish. And I would say, hopefully, most of us love Wildflower. It's a great song from a great album, and we all love Billie. But I think across the board, a lot of people felt like, oh, even though we love this song and we love Billie, why the hell did it just win Song of the Year? That's the feeling, and I agree. I love the song, love Billie, but it was a really bittersweet moment when she won for Song of the Year. One, because not a lot of people predicted, including myself, so I got that wrong. But also, I just hate the optics of it. She's a Grammy darling, which is great. Love that for her and Phineas. They're Grammy darlings, which is fine. And they deserve to be because they're great artists and great songwriters, right? But her and Phineas have already won this category twice in like under a decade. They won for Bad Guy and What Was I Made For? Great songs. Bad Guy shouldn't have won this category. That's my bad. Bad Guy should not have won. What Was I Made For? Deserves that win. Period. And she low-key, honestly, if anything, and I think what also sucks about her winning for Wildflower this year is that it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like this was a makeup for her shutout last year. Because if anything, I'm not mad that Billie was nominated for Wildflower in Record and Song of the Year this year. I'm not mad. I wasn't mad about it at all. I predicted it. But I am mad that she won this year when in reality she really should have won at least one Grammy last year when her album was mostly in contention, the Hit Me Hard and Soft album. To me, in my opinion, what would have made sense for the legacy of that era, she should have just won Best Pop Soul Performance, which I predicted and was rooting for Birds of a Feather. Birds of a Feather will always be, I think, the song that people know and love from the album the most. And unfortunately, Espresso beat it, and I love Espresso, so I'm not mad at that. But Birds of a Feather, if anything, was a better performance than Espresso was, and Sabrina was gonna win Pop Vocal Album anyways. So I feel like they should have given Pop Soul to Billie, and that should have been the Grammy for the Hit Me Hard and Soft era. Wildflower could have gotten its nominations this year, it would have been fine, but it shouldn't have won. Not because it didn't deserve it. It's a really great written song. It's a beautiful record. It's a masterpiece. It's a really great song. So it's not like it didn't deserve it, but I just hate the optics and the timing of it. It feels like it's like an afterthought, and it feels like a makeup for her shutout last year since she didn't win any Grammys last year. And mind you, last year was a tough year as well, very competitive. But she could have won at least one Grammy last year. She could have won for Record of Song of the Year for Birds of a Feather too, and I would have been cool. I think we all would have been cool with that because we love that song. But yeah, I don't like the optics of her winning for Song of the Year. It's not my favorite win from her and in this category. It's not that it's not deserved or it's that it's a bad win, but it's just like, it just feels like off. You know what I'm saying? And I can't pinpoint. It feels late. It feels like a makeup Grammy instead of it being like a genuine, even though Wildflower was a really omnipresent song in 2025, I don't know. It's just, it feels weird. And I also think it's not that I'm mad that Wildflower won, but it feels like Wildflower's win got in the way of some really dope history that could have been made in this category. We could have had a K-pop artist winning this category for the first time, whether it was Apata or mainly Golden. I thought Golden would win, and I kind of felt like, not that it should have won, because I think Golden's like an okay song, but I feel like Golden would have made a lot of sense as in terms of being a song that won and defines the year, right? So I just, Wildflower was a cool song, but Wildflower didn't even hit the top 10, whereas Golden was like number one for 8 weeks. And I feel like Golden is a song that defines 2025 more so than Wildflower did. But then again, you can't be mad because Grammys is not really about commercial success and all that. It's really about the quality of the song. So Wildflower is a great song, so I'll take it. I don't want to keep rambling about it, but let me know what y'all think about it. Are y'all mad that Billie won for Song of the Year? Or are y'all happy? Or y'all kind of indifferent? I'm kind of indifferent. I'm not happy about it. I'm not sad about it. But it just, I would have given the award to someone else in that category because I feel like we could have seen some other really cool wins happen in a year where there weren't a lot of titans in the general field. Like we didn't have a Beyonce or Taylor Swift. We did have Kendrick, we did have Billie and Sabrina, and Lady Gaga. So we did have a lot of titans, but it still felt like this was a year where the win was kind of wide open. Maybe Bad Bunny could have taken it for Debbie Tira Mas Fotos. Like that would have been cool, So I think Wildflower just feels like, even though it was for a good song, it's like it just feels like such a predictable win. for Billy and Phineas, who seem to be like Grammy darlings that just kind of, they can breathe and they'll win a Grammy at this point. You know, I'm not mad about it because they deserve it, but at the same time, I would have went a different way personally. And for her and Phineas now be the first songwriters to win Song of the Year 3 times is like insane, because they're both so young and they've done it in like less than a decade, which is crazy. Like, they're on a really interesting run, a run that I can't be mad at. But it's just like, whoa, like, y'all, the Grammys like love y'all, and of course as they should. But like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Let me know what y'all think down below. Next up was Tyler, the Creator, performing his records, Thought I Was Dead and Sugar on My Tongue. And man, Tyler, the Creator was definitely one of my personal favorite performances of the night. I think he did a great job. He ate down. He ate. I really feel like that performance in particular, out of all the performances at the Grammys this year, was one that had a lot of replay value. Like, I would want to like watch that again and again. You know, seeing it perform, you know, from a song from Chromacopia that had more of that rap alternative vibe on it. You know, with like, you know, the Chromacopia mask and the outfit, that brand being strong, breath control, energy, and then going from that to, you know, Sugar on My Tongue, which was more of like, you know, the retro funk pop vibe from, you know, Don't Top the Glass. Completely different outfit, completely different vibe, completely different sound, and he's like singing on that song. For this to be like in the same performance from the same artist, but two different vibes, two different like skill sets, two different sets, but it's connected. Like, Tyler, the Creator, is a genius. He's really operating at a level right now that a lot of people cannot touch. And he really showed out. He really just killed it, knocked out the park. But to me, it was one of the most memorable and one of the best performances of the night. And a performance that quietly just kind of came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, Tyler. Like, I knew every time Tyler hits a Grammy stage, you know it's going to be fire. But I just was like, wow. Like, I didn't expect it to be that crazy. Especially because, you know, his previous performances, he only did like one thing. But this one, he did two different things. And I was like Tyler, damn, like, crazy. And also, shout out to Tyler again for being, I believe, the first artist to be nominated in the same year for a rap album and alternative music album. That history is so dope to me, and I love that for him. All right, and then we have Pharrell, who was presented with the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. And I have to say, y'all, as much as I rock with Dr. Dre, we have to get rid of Dr. Dre's name being a part of that award and always associated with that award. He was the first recipient, as he should have been, but I don't know why we need to name the award the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And I don't got no beef with Dr. Dre, but, you know, it just feels random to me. But yeah, shout out to Pharrell for winning. I think he definitely deserved that award. He's definitely, I think, at a high point in his career in terms of his impact and his influence, you know, in fashion and music and just, you know, all types of creative spaces. So I definitely think he deserved that look in that award. Happy for him. And his speech was cool. Although I wasn't really a fan of him saying, what did he say? He was like, the secret to life is just to work, y'all. Just work. And as long as you're doing what you love, you'll get paid for free. And I was like, for real, I don't know. It's easy to say that when you're in a bubble of being rich your whole life, right? And I'm not hating on Pharrell. Like, I love that man down, but it's like, Pharrell, like, myself included, I'm at a job where I'm working 9 to 5 and I'm tired. Like, and of course I love to just jump out the window and do what I love, you know, tomorrow, but that's not everybody's reality. So I just feel like that was kind of an insensitive comment to make. I get what he was trying to like do to inspire people, but I didn't like that comment. It just kind of felt like, get off your ass and work and make sure you're doing what you love, so like you won't be working for, like, I just didn't like it. It was weird to me. But other than that, happy that he won that award. He deserved it. But I also will say it was kind of interesting that he won this award at this time, with the big elephant in the room being, you know, the lawsuit that him and Chad Hugo have right now. I kind of feel like a lot of people have a sour taste in their mouth about Pharrell, which is understandable because of, you know, the lawsuit with him and Chad. So I'm just like, I feel like this is kind of awkward timing with him getting this recognition by the Grammys, but it is what it is. I don't know. So let me know what y'all think about Pharrell winning the Global Impact Award and the timing of it, especially with the lawsuit with him and Chad and, you know, over those royalties and all that. Let me know what y'all think. Next up was the In Memoriam segment, which I thought was cool for the most part. Reba was first up. And I can't believe that was Reba McEntire's first time performing on the Grammy stage, but I guess it actually was. So I thought she did a great job. And then I realized throughout the whole In Memoriam segment that we really lost a lot of people in 2025. Like, we lost a lot of icons this year. And when they were showing all those artists, I was just like, all the people who've been in the music industry. I was just like, my God, we have lost a lot of icons and a lot of titans this year. So it was really sad to kind of to watch all that, but it is what it is. So after Reba and her crew performed, then we went to Post Malone, who pretty much did the tribute to Ozzy Osbourne for the In Memoriam. And that was weird to me because I don't know if I'm not sure how I felt about rock soundtracking that second part of the In Memoriam, just in terms of the vibe it gave. But at the same, like, it felt weird to me, like kind of having like this rock alternative grunge vibe as we're like celebrating fallen people in the music industry. But at the same time, it was a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, so of course that makes sense. And I thought he did a great job. Like, Post Malone did great. He sounded great. I thought that performance was great, even though I don't think it fit with the In Memoriam vibe. As a tribute to Ozzy, I get it, and it was still good. So that was that. And then we go to the tributes for D'Angelo and Roberta Flack, led by the one and only, the beautiful, the amazing, the beyond talented Miss Lauryn Hill. My God. Happy Black History Month, y'all. Shout out to Lauryn Hill and the barrage of beautiful and brilliant Black artists that she brought on in different segments of the entire tribute to Roberta Flack and D'Angelo, tributing, performing some of their songs. And when I say, I think if this probably was the best moment of the night for me, and maybe I'm biased because obviously I'm Black and I love R&B music and all that, but I think regardless, I think this was one of the most genuine and one of the most beautiful parts of the show that I watched. I can't say enough about what everyone did. Like, let me just list off all the artists. I can't remember who did what exactly, but so we had Lucky Day came on. I think he performed, I believe he did Brown Sugar. Oh, first off, Lauryn Hill started off the performance performing Nothing Even Matters, her collab with D'Angelo, which I never realized, and she said during the performance that they never got to perform together in his lifetime, which is so crazy to me because I feel like they're both so well known for that duet, but they never performed it live, which is insane to me. I don't understand how they never got to perform it live back in the 90s. They never got to do that. That's crazy. It's such an iconic duet. Like, I'm like, wow, we never had a performance from them for that. Insane. And then the camera, in a beautiful moment when she was performing Nothing Even Matters, when it came to D'Angelo's part, like the camera shifted, and I think it was like the background singers and her singing his part, but the camera shifted to the piano with no one sitting there, and I believe like his picture I think was in the background, and I was just like, it was such a spooky but beautiful moment. And shout out to Grammys for making it right as well, for allowing his son, him and Angie Stone's son Michael, to attend. And there was like a snafu with that, but I'm glad they figured it out. So shout out to them for making that happen. But yeah, that moment was so gorgeous and it was so symbolic of like, feeling like D'Angelo was there in that moment. Like he was there receiving his flowers from his peers and people under him that he's inspired, especially Lauryn. So that was such a beautiful moment to see that. That small moment, I loved it. And then after that, I think Lucky Day came out to do Brown Sugar. I think Raphael Sadiq did Lady. Anthony Hamilton also came out as well. Leon Thomas, I think Leon Thomas did Devil's Pie, if I remember correctly. Crazy, he killed it. And then Bilal came out and performed Untitled, How Does It Feel? And again, showed us why he is one of those ones. But one thing Bilal gonna do is come on an award show. Y'all remember his performance tributing Prince? What was it, at the 2016 BET Awards? In the black pants, the white cutoff shirt, and he came through and just shut it down. One thing Bilal gonna do is tribute one of our fallen icons and show us why, even though y'all be forgetting about him, and understandably so, because he don't be out here like that, but he's always been and will always be one of those ones. Bilal, vocally, all my man do is stay in the house. He don't come outside. But whenever Bilal do come outside, he sings down and reminds y'all why he's one of our dopest and best vocalists and artists in the R&B soul space. Even though he is always hidden, he is one of them ones. And he showed out again performing Untitled, How Does It Feel? He killed it. One of the best moments of the tribute. Bilal, thank you, my guy. you killed it. We had Alexia J on. I think she might have done some of Africa. John Batiste was present. Leon Bridges came out. Lila Hathaway came out. October London came out. I forgot what song he did. Did he do Feel Like Making Love? I can't remember. I think he did. John Legend was there as well. And then Shaka Khan came out at some point. And then when we switched to going from the D'Angelo tribute to attributing Roberta Flack, Lauryn Hill started to sing, Feel Like Making Love, and Killing Me Softly with his song, and Total Praise and all that. And at some point, Wyclef Jean joined her for the Roberta Flack tribute, which was great. I think he came from the audience and came down to join Lauryn on stage for a Fugees reunion. Love that. Shout out to Praz. We know what's going on with him. He couldn't make it, obviously. But man, just a black ass beautiful moment for the Grammys history. To have all those dope artists in one space. If you say it felt a little crowded, I could understand that. But at the end of the day, it's not like everybody was on stage at the same time. People were coming in and out, so it didn't feel too crowded in my opinion. But it really was beautiful to see the impacts that these two artists in particular, D'Angelo and Roberta Flack, have had on music throughout the generations. Their generation, Lauryn Hill and Wyclef's generation, my generation, to see such big of a span of generations of black artists tributing these fallen icons was so gorgeous to see on one of the biggest stages in music. And it was done so well with Lauryn Hill leading it. And she was like a beautiful conductor of what was happening, singing the entire time, but introducing folks. She did mess up a little bit. I think she kept saying Leon Thomas should come out early or Lucky Day. I can't remember. But that was fine. It happens. There was a lot to coordinate, so I'm not mad at her about that. But to have all these artists just performing different songs from D'Angelo and Roberta Flack was wow. And it didn't feel too long. It didn't feel too, it didn't feel too crowded for me. It didn't feel too, it felt perfect. It was just great. I think this will be one of the top moments that we'll look back on in Grammy history in terms of that moment. Just so many legends on one stage, tributing to amazing legends that have now passed. I don't know what else to say about that moment. Rest in peace to D'Angelo again. Rest in peace to Roberta Flack. Thank you both for your beautiful music, for your legacies, for your contributions to music that will never be erased. As evidenced by the beautiful tribute that how many artists gave to y'all that you guys have touched and influenced. Man. Crazy. And then we went to Record of the Year, which was presented by Cher after I think she had been honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Grammys, which was cute, deserved. But Lord, I do not understand what the hell Cher was up there doing in terms of when she presented for Record of the Year. First of all, after she talked about her award, she left, not realizing she was supposed to present for Record of the Year. And then Trevor told her to come back. Trevor was like, Cher, where you going? You got to present this award. Oh, she was like, oh, my bad. I'll come back. So she came back to present Record of the Year. And then she going to say, and the Record of the Year goes to, and she's looking at us, and we're like, Cher, you got the envelope. You're presenting it, girl. What's going on? And she's like, oh, shit, my bad, yo. I'm sorry. I thought I had to read the teleprompter. I'm sorry. I'm like, Cher, what's going, listen, how old is Cher now? Listen, I don't like to be ageist. I'm not going to do that. But Cher, girl, what was it giving? And then she finally opens up the envelope and she's like, and the Grammy goes to Luther Vandross. And I'm like, Cher, what is going on? Luther Vandross? I'm like, do you mean Luther Vandross, girl? And I'm like, Luther been dead for at least 20 years, girl. What do you mean, Cher? I'm like, Cher, you mean Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA? And then 10 seconds later, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. No, I mean Kendrick Lamar and SZA. And I'm like, Cher, it's okay. Go home, girl. Go home. Cher is gone. No shade. Cher is gone. We love her. Cher, we love you down. But you could have accepted your award from home and we could have had someone else present Record of the Year. It's okay, girl. Cher was gone. I don't know what was going on with Cher, but I honestly, I appreciate it because that shit was funny. And it had me, it gave me a jolt of energy towards the end of the show. So I appreciated it. But yeah, so obviously Kendrick Lamar and SZA won for Luther. As I predicted, a lot of people didn't believe me, but I told y'all, I'm happy for them. Definitely deserved to win for a great song. And I personally would have given it to maybe Abracadabra or maybe Debbie Tira Mas Photos, but I love that Luther won. Definitely glad that Luther won a great song. Definitely deserved. And yeah, I loved Kendrick's speech. I love what SZA's. I loved SZA's speech. I love how she was just like, listen, like right now we're all drowning in despair, but like don't let that control y'all. Like, we're governed by God, not the government. Like, don't lose hope in humanity finding its way back to like who we are. Like, I loved that, and I really appreciate that message from SZA. I love her for that. And Kendrick, I love how he talked about getting the clearance from Luther's estate to for the If This World Were Mine sample, and making sure that they did it justice. No cursing. Like, I love his speech was so cute about just how the song came to be. I loved it. It was really nice, and he gave love to Soundwave and everybody else that was involved in the song, and how they felt worthy of sampling the song and giving it and doing it justice, which they definitely did, because they give this generation a new timeless bop for us. Like, Luther is now a generational hit for this generation, so we'll be singing it for decades to come. So it's a new classic for us. So I'm glad that I got this Grammy. It deserved it, and I loved what SZA and Kendrick said when they got up there to accept it. So shout out to them. And next up was the Clips performing So Far Ahead, which I thought it was a solid performance. I love So Far Ahead. It's a great track off of the album, but I thought it was cool. But I really feel like it would have been a better performance, and I feel like it would have been leveled up if they had performed other songs. I think in particular I would have preferred if they had performed, especially The Birds Don't Sing. I really feel like them doing The Birds Don't Sing, or even Chains and Whips, but especially Birds Don't Sing, I think would have been such a powerful moment. I think Chains and Whips would have made more sense. It's a song that won them their first Grammy, and Kendrick would have been able to perform with them, so that would have been cool. Or if they wanted to just have it be a Clips moment without Kendrick, The Birds Don't Sing. I feel like The Birds Don't Sing is such a powerful song. It's a beautiful song. And I feel like it would have made more sense for that moment. So Far Ahead is just one of the random tracks on their album. It's a great song. But I feel like for the vibe of the Grammys, I really feel like The Birds Don't Sing would have been a better showcase of them as a group and their talent, and also what they gave on the album and what they did this year with their music. So that performance was definitely not one of the best. It wasn't the most memorable, but they did a good job. They definitely brought lyricism, energy, bar, just straight good rap energy. They came with that skill, doing what they do best. But I just wish they had a better song selection. But I still think they did a good job. But I also do think I wanted to highlight that I think it's kind of awkward, the timing of the Clips finally getting their Grammy moment to perform, with Pusha T's name being in the news for some things which I don't think are valid. I've heard they're not true, but we all know what happens, what's been put out there, and also with Pharrell having his issues in the media right now. So it just feels like that whole that the Pusha and Circle, like that whole group right there, are going through like all this drama all right now. So it's interesting how like they were on part of the Grammys, but like there were these big elephants in the room with with Pusha and Pharrell. So whatever, I just wanted to mention that. But I'm still glad the Clips got a moment to perform. I thought they did a good job. And the last moment of the night was obviously Album of the Year, which was awarded to Bad Bunny for Debbie Tira Mas Photos, like I said before. Man, I have to say I knew Bad Bunny was winning, even though I predicted and I was rooting for Kendrick Lamar's Gen X to take it. I definitely knew Bad Bunny was winning it as soon as I saw Harry Styles as the presenter for the award. I feel like I feel like the Grammys are like they know what they're doing. If they would have picked like a black person to present Album of the Year, I think we would have known it was going to Kendrick. But when they picked Harry Styles, that's when I was like, oh, okay, no, this is going to Bad Bunny. Like it makes sense. It's gonna go to Bad Bunny, and that's what happened. So I will say, like I said before, I'm so happy for Bad Bunny in terms of what the Album of the Year win meant for Latinx people around the world. And I am somewhat upset. It's bittersweet because I am somewhat upset that Kendrick Lamar didn't get it, since it seems like this was really the perfect album and the perfect time for him to have finally won Album of the Year. And I think I will always feel that way. Let's see what the future holds. But, even though I'm upset about that, Kendrick will be fine. He has like the most Grammys of any rapper, so he'll be fine. Even though I would have loved him to finally get this one category in particular, but it's cool. So even though I'm upset about that, I am so happy for Bad Bunny. I'm so happy for him. And I'm grateful for the history that was made with this win. It being the first Spanish language album, it being Bad Bunny's first win, and he's been grinding and doing this thing for years now. I feel like this honestly was like the perfect time for him too. So I really couldn't be mad at Bad Bunny winning. It really was the perfect time for him to win as well. So it was it was tough timing for Kendrick, but so happy for Bad Bunny. And I also love how, and I'm grateful for how this win perfectly meets the moment we're experiencing in our country right now, with everything going on with ICE and just everything going on with the Trump administration. Like, it really feels beautiful, and it's so great to see that. And history will always mark that in this very dark time right now in our country's history, an all Spanish language album won one of the biggest prizes you can win in music. It might not have been what I expected or rooted for, but I'm so happy that if it wasn't going to be Gen X, I'm happy that Bad Bunny won the award. For an album that has really shifted culture, it's one of the most successful and best albums of the year, of the Grammy period. And for a category and an award it's been so used to just seeing English language albums dominate from the beginning, understandably so. It's so cool to see that ceiling now being broken, to see that language that's in a whole nother language, an album that's in a whole nother language can win the award. That's given by that's voted on by pretty much the entire Grammy Academy. That's amazing. It speaks volumes to where the industry's at. It speaks volumes to where the Grammys are at. And I'm so excited for what it means for the history and the future of music moving forward, in terms of not only the Grammys, but just the future of the music industry and what it means and what we're seeing in terms of how things are shifting. I'm so excited for what this win meant. It was really monumental win. And yeah, I'm just excited. But I also have to say, I do think what helped Bad Bunny a little bit was the new voting block from the Latin Grammys now coming over to the regular Grammys. That definitely happens this year. And I think they definitely all corralled and rallied around getting Bad Bunny enough votes for him to win. So I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, not saying that at all. But I definitely think that was a good boost that he needed to get to the top of that win. Just to get over the edge. I definitely think that voting block from the Latin Grammys helped him out a lot. And I love that for him. So next up, Super Bowl. Best of luck, Bad Bunny. Like, you're having a crazy year so far. Like, album of the year win, and now on to the Super Bowl next week. Like, amazing. So congrats, Bad Bunny, on your album of the year win. So deserved. History in the making. And let's see what the future holds for this category moving forward. So excited. All right, y'all. So those are my thoughts on this year's Grammys. To end off the video, let me just give you guys, and let me run through and give you guys my thoughts on some of the other awards that were not presented during the main telecast. Just so you can get my thoughts on it and my reaction to some of the other awards. So we already went through the general fields. Producer of the year, non-classical, went to Circuit, as I predicted. Congrats, Circuit. He deserved it. Songwriter of the year, non-classical, went to Amy Allen. Back-to-back wins for Amy Allen. Love that for her. She deserved it. I'm glad I predicted her as well. So she definitely deserved that and won that. Let's see. Best pop duo group performance, like I said, that went to Defying Gravity by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. I thought that this would have gone to either Golden or Apata, but I'm so glad that Defying Gravity won, because that's what I wanted to win. I didn't think they would give it to Defying Gravity, but I'm glad it won because it deserves. The vocal that Cynthia and Ariana Grande had on that performance, everything. Like, it deserved this Grammy, period. Best Dance Electronic Album went to FKA Twigs for Eusexua. Love that for her. She's now the second Black woman to win this award after Beyonce for winning for Renaissance. Eusexua is a good album, so I'm happy for FKA Twigs, her first Grammy after grinding for so long. Congrats, FKA Twigs. Let's see. Best Dance Pop Recording went to Abracadabra. I love that. I'm glad I predicted that. I love that song. That would have been my winner as well. I also was rooting for Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson, but I knew that was going to Gaga. She deserves that, so shout out to her. Best Dance Electronic Recording went to Tame Impala for End of Summer. Not a bad song, but I really feel like I would have given this to pretty much any other song in the category, namely Victory Lap or Space Invader or No Cap. End of Summer feels like a corny win to me. Not corny, but it just wasn't the best song in my opinion. And Tame Impala just won this category, I think, last year or 2 years ago. So this wasn't brand new to me, but it is what it is. Victory Lap or Space Invader deserved. Best Remix Recording, non-classical, went to Gustavo Steen for his remix of Abracadabra. Shout out to him. I'm not mad at that. The rock and metal and alternative categories, I'm not gonna go too in depth with these ones because nobody that I really cared about won. Haley Williams lost all of her nominations, which I was shocked by, but that happened, so it's cool. Shreddy has Grammy, should be all right, but R&B categories, let's see. All right, as I said before, Kehlani took R&B performance and R&B song for Folded, deserved, love that for her. Best traditional R&B performance went to Leon Thomas for Vibes Don't Lie, which I should have seen coming actually. I don't know why I didn't think about it. I thought it was either going to go to SZA or Duran Bernard, but it made sense that it was going to go Leon Thomas. I thought too hard about that one. I overthought that one, but love that for Leon Thomas. I love Vibes Don't Lie. It's a great song, one of my favorite songs off of his album. I was rooting for Duran Bernard in this category, but I'm not mad that Leon Thomas won. Great song. And speaking of Duran Bernard, he won for Best Progressive R&B Album, like I said at the beginning of the video. So love that for him. His first Grammy. A lot of people were rooting for Flo, but I'm glad that Duran won that category. Very deserved. Duran's been grinding for years, whereas Flo is just getting started, so they'll get theirs in another time in the future. But I'm glad Duran won in this moment. Perfect win for him. Best R&B album went to Leon Thomas for Mutt, as we knew it would. I was rooting for Giveon, but I knew Leon Thomas was taking that, so love that for him. Best rap performance went to Chains and Whips by Clips, Pharrell, and Kendrick Lamar. I knew it would. I'm glad it did. So at least the Clips walked away with at least one Grammy this year. I was hoping they would have taken two, but at least they got one, so we love that for them. Finally, Clips and Pusha T are now Grammy winners. Shout out to them for this win. Very deserved. Chains and Whips is a great song. Best melodic rap performance went to Kendrick Lamar and SZA for Luther, as we knew it would. That was very clear. Best rap song went to TV Off, which I was not expecting. I thought that would go to either The Birds Don't Sing or Dolce's Anxiety, but I'm glad TV Off won. I would have rather TV Off maybe won a performance over song, but it's still a great song, so I'm glad it won. And Lefty Gunplay now has a Grammy, which is crazy. I didn't think they would award TV Off because of Lefty Gunplay for like saying 4 words on a song, but it was a great 4 words. He killed it, and TV Off is a great song, so I'm glad it won Best Rap Song. Very deserved. Best Rap Album went to Kendrick, like we know. Best Spoken Word Poetry Album went to Mad Skills for Words for Days Volume 1. Love that for him. In the jazz categories, I'm just going to mention Samara Joy, who won for Best Jazz Vocal Album for her album Portrait. Love that she won. That was my predicted winner as well. Samara Joy, I love you down. Your voice is amazing, and your album is amazing, so I'm glad you won that. And Lauve or Lauve, she won for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album for her album A Matter of Time. I thought Elton John and Brandi Carlile might have taken that, or maybe Lady Gaga for Harlequin, but I'm not surprised they gave it to Lauve. And let's see, in the country categories, I'm just going to mention that they gave Chris Stapleton Best Country Soul Performance for like the 6th time, which is insane. They love him in that category. It is what it is. And my guy Shabuzi and Jelly Roll won for Best Country Duo / Group Performance for their song Amen. So Shabuzi finally has a Grammy. It feels like a makeup Grammy for his shutout last year, but we'll take it. So Shabuzi finally has a Grammy to his name. Love that for him. Mavis Staples cleaned up in the Americana categories and American Roots categories. She won for American Roots Performance and Best Americana Performance. Love that for her. John Batiste won for Best Americana Album, like I thought he would. Love that for him. In the Gospel and Christian categories, CeCe Winans and Shirley Caesar won for Best Gospel Performance / Song for Come Jesus Come. Love that for those legends. Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll won for Contemporary Christian Music Performance / Song for Hard Fought Hallelujah. So that was Jelly Roll's 3rd win of the night. Best Gospel Album went to Daryl Walls and PJ Morton. Shout out to Daryl Walls on his first Grammy from the Walls Group. Love that for him. Amazing guy, amazing artist, amazing singer. So I'm glad he won his first Grammy with PJ Morton. Amazing. In the Latin categories, I already mentioned Bad Bunny winning for Music Alberna album. But I also will mention Gloria Estefan. She won for Tropical Latin album again for her album. Is it Races? Sorry if I said that wrong. Best Reggae Album actually didn't go to Vybz Kartel or Lil Ek. It actually went to Kez Namdi for his album Blood and Fire. So shout out to him for winning Best Reggae Album. Best Global Music Performance went to Bad Bunny for EOO. A banger. Love that for him. Period. Best African Music Performance went to Tyla for Push to Start, which I'm so happy for her for winning that Grammy. 2 for 2 now in this category. I know a lot of people have an issue with Tyla winning this category. I'm not going to go into it too much because y'all doing too much. I do understand that Tyla in general and Push to Start is more of like a pop vibe and more of a pop song than a straight up like Afro beats or African song, and I get it. But at the end of the day, she's a South African artist. Most of her music is based in African sounds, African rhythms, all that. So it's understandable that she's being relegated to this category. I don't think it's racism. I don't think it's the Grammys just like not like I don't think it's Grammys playing her face. This is where her team submitted the song, and it makes sense. And she's at this point in her career, it doesn't make sense for her to be competing with like the pop artists in the pop category. So this doesn't make sense. But I think when she becomes a bigger artist, we can have that conversation. But for now, I'm not mad, and it makes sense that she's submitting her songs to this category. It fits here, so it is what it is. And she had the biggest song in the category, so I'm not surprised that she won. And it's, in my opinion, it's also my favorite song in the category. So it is what it is. Tyler, congrats on your second Grammy. Love that for you. You deserved it. And I'm looking forward to your new album later this year, A-Pop. Let's go. Best comedy album went to Nate Bargatze for his album, Your Friend Nate Bargatze. I thought they would have given that to maybe Ali Wong or Jamie Foxx, but I guess not. Best compilation soundtrack for visual media went to Sinners, which I love because I thought they would give it to Wicked, but I love that they gave it to Sinners. Love that for Ryan Coogler and Ludwig Göransson, who also won for best score soundtrack for visual media for Sinners as well. So love that for Ludwig. He won 2 this year. Amazing. And best song written for visual media obviously went to Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack, as we knew it would. Love that for EJ and Teddy Parker and the other songwriters of that song. We knew that would happen. Best music video went to Doechii for Anxiety, which I didn't see coming. I thought that would go to Sabrina Carpenter for Man-Child, but I had a feeling Doechii could be a spoiler. But I'm surprised they really gave it to her. But I love that for her. So now Doechii is now 2-time winner. Love that for her. Period. And best music film went to John Williams for Music by John Williams, which is not surprising because he's a legend. So he won that, and the team for that film won that. Best album cover went to Tyler Creator for Chromacopia, as I predicted. Love that for him. I'm glad. Since I had a feeling that Tyler was not going to win any of his other Grammys, I'm glad they gave him an album cover because he definitely deserved that for sure. So yeah, shout out to Tyler for that. Great cover. It deserved it. So yeah, y'all, that was my breakdown and my thoughts on everything 2026 Grammys. Let me know what y'all thought about this year's show down below. What did you think about Trevor Noah hosting? What did you think about all the performances? What did you think about the moments that happened throughout the show? What did you think about all the winners of the Grammys this year and the people who lost and who are you rooting for? Who was your favorite performance? Who was your least favorite? Who was, who did you root for that won? Who did you root for that lost? Give me all your thoughts on this year's Grammys down below. I want to know. Put them down below. I appreciate it. And let me know what y'all thought about my review. And let me know what you thought about, how I did with my predictions. For those of y'all who watched my prediction video, let me know what y'all thought about, how my predictions matched up with what actually happened. I feel like I did really good with some things, and I missed the mark on some things, which happens all the time. It is what it is. But it's fun. So I always enjoy, making predictions each year. So let me know, what y'all thought about this year's show. What happened based off of your predictions, and just let me know all that. But yeah, y'all, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join my Patreon, okay? Link below in the description, okay? Appreciate y'all. But all right, y'all, this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. But for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. Relax just a little bit, you don't gotta worry, you can just